Great to have you here today. We've all been told we need to hit up on the driver to get it to launch high and go the maximum amount of distance. Well, the problem is it's very difficult without a $20,000 launch monitor to figure out if you're hitting up on the ball or not. And you don't want to have to go to a pro with one of those launch monitors every time you want to figure it out. Well, this is a pretty ingenious device that's going to teach you exactly how to do that. Now, simply all I'm going to do is I'm going to tee this ball up on the 0, the +3, or the +6. I'm going to miss these yellow tees with my driver, and that's going to tell me that I'm hitting up on it enough. I'll get to the details here in a second. Let's go ahead and hit one here first. Nice, booming high drive. Not going to do a ton better than that. Hit it 302, pretty daggone good for one of my first swings of the day. So the way this device works, it's called the launch deck for performance golf. I've been playing around with it a lot. I'm going to tell you how to hit your driver, your irons, all kinds of different drills you can do with this, even how to get that nice little tight draw hitting this, and it's going to give you some immediate feedback. Now, the back setting is the 0 degree setting. And what that means is if I put my tee on the back setting, I should be able to hit the golf ball nice and solid on the center of the face, and then as my club moves level through impact, it's going to start to gradually go up the farther it goes forward. So you can imagine there's this kind of this circle that our club is moving on. It should be going back up enough to miss these yellow tees if I'm hitting with a level angle of attack if I'm on the back tee. Now as I move it closer to these yellow tees, I have to hit up on the driver more to be able to miss those tees. So the middle setting is the +3 degrees and the front setting is the +6 degrees. Now personally, I think the +3 degree setting is plenty for most players. Maybe if you're doing long drive and you're truly trying to hit up on it as much as you can with like a 4 degree driver and you're swinging 200 miles an hour or whatever it is, your ball speed's 200 miles an hour, maybe the +6 or even more than that's good. Your tee's going to be about this long most of the time if you're doing that. But for most mere mortals, keep it at +3. You're going to launch it really high. Going to hit some great drives from there. Now, the important thing here is how I do this. Now, when I tee up this golf ball, if I tee it up really low, you can imagine if I have the golf ball sitting on the little rubber tee holder that holds the tee, well now, if I'm going to hit up and miss these yellow tees in the front, I'm going to have to hit that ball thin. So I want to tee up the ball to where it's about 1/2 to 3/4 of the ball above the crown of your driver. That would be about my standard tee height. And as you see as I set this golf ball up, about half this golf ball, or even 3/4 for me, is sitting above the crown like that. So the lower I get it, it's really not going to work with this device. If you're going to hit up on your driver, you're going to have to tee the ball up fairly high. In fact, long drive players, they tee the ball up with these crazy high tees. I think they even have a max length that the tee can be because they're trying to have the low point of their swing here and then hit way up on the golf ball. This is doing that to a small amount, so just, again, 1/2 to 3/4 of the ball over it. Now from there, one other thing I don't want to do is I don't want to miss these tees by swinging level and just hitting the ball thin. So I could swing level with this golf ball, hit it on the bottom of this driver, and still theoretically miss these yellow tees. So I highly recommend using something like this Dr. Scholl's, any kind of foot spray powder, or if you're going to use foot spray powder, make sure that you use the Odorex. It has SweatMax technology. That's the one that shows up white on the club face. If you're not using foot spray powder, they also make golf impact powder that works really well too. This is just cheaper, and most pharmacies have something like this that works right away. You don't have to go to and order it offline. So I'm going to mark this up white, and now when I swing, you're going to see I'm either going to hit it in the sweet spot or slightly above the sweet spot if I'm doing this correctly and still miss these yellow tees. Now a big piece of this is where I play the ball position. You see a lot of players, to try to hit up on the ball, they play the ball more in the middle of their stance, and then they end up falling back to try to get the ball up in the air. So the ball's in the middle of my stance, and all of a sudden I'm falling back here to try to lift up on it. I want to play that ball all the way up in the front of my stance. I want to even have my left ankle kind of touching this stick. So the ball position would be quite a bit forward there to where it's basically in line with my left ankle. My front foot is flared open a little bit, which helps me to get through the shot a little bit easier. But from here, I can hit up on this drive and still miss those tees and hit it nice and solid. So let's go ahead and give it a whirl. Now, before I do that, 2 more quick checkpoints. Number 1, I want to have my spine tilted slightly away from the target. So I don't want my head over the golf ball. I want my head almost leaning slightly toward the right center of my stance. So if I'm looking down, my belt buckle should be in front of my nose. Now from there, I'm going to go ahead and make a swing. Let's see if I can hit a nice solid drive here. There we go, hit that one really good. Again, 306, nice tight little draw. I was able to hit the sweet spot or just a hair toward the toe, which is fine if you're playing a little bit of a draw. It wasn't low on the face at all, which means that when I missed these yellow tees, I was doing that by actually swinging slightly up on the driver. Now you can see my launch angle was 13.3. That's a high launch angle. And, carried it 288, went 306 on the total distance. Pretty daggone good. Not going to do a whole lot better than that. Now, there's another couple features on here that I'll get to. One of them is swinging from the inside. Now, as you start to get more behind the golf ball, what I want to do to hit this nice little draw is I want to make sure that I'm swinging inside out. Now, these orange tees that you see on here, there's one outside and one inside. If I put them in the middle markers, that would promote a straight path. If I put this orange tee forward and this orange tee back, I'd have to swing a little over the top or a little bit of a fade to miss both those tees. And today I have it set up on the draw setting. So here, I'm going to feel like I swing a little bit more from the inside to get through that gate, to get through that path. And you may feel like your ball launches a little bit more toward this right center yellow tee. So it's completely normal feeling to get that ball to go a little bit launching to the right and then drawing back is the sensation that you're going to have. Now, another couple keys for that, I want to have my right elbow under. So if I get my right elbow on top, this right elbow is high, my right shoulder's high, I'm almost always going to chop into this outside orange little tee there, and I'm not going to be able to swing from this inside path. So I want to have that elbow low and tucked under. So feel like the elbow pit is more up toward the sky. That's automatically going to close your shoulders a little bit and help you to get that tilt to the right like we already mentioned there. And finally, if I want to not only swing to the inside out but get the ball to draw, I don't want to hold the club face straight. I want to feel like I go ahead and let this club face release on over. So I'm letting the momentum of the club face turn on over instead of feeling like I'm holding it straight. Straight equals a slice. So if I feel like I'm straight, I'm going to slice it. If I feel like I'm releasing this club and letting it roll on over, that's going to be a bit more of a draw. All right, so let's go ahead. Ball off the front foot, right elbow, right armpit, a little bit more under like that. That's going to close my body. And then I'm going ahead and letting this face turn over so I can get that nice little draw there. Tried to overdo it a little bit and hooked it. I'm already playing a draw, so I don't need to have the sensation for me to go even more under and let it release a little bit more. So that's great to do. I actually recommend go ahead and hit this big power draw. It still went 300 yards, not like it was a bad shot, but overdraw it a little bit if you tend to fade it and then back off of it. Again, here you'll see I hit the same spot on the club face, almost on the dead center, pretty good drive. Now all I'm going to do is a little less. So I'm already drawing it every time. Naturally, my right arm's going to be a little less under, a little more neutral. My shoulders are going to be more square. And then from here, that'll straighten it out. There we go. Nice straight drive right down the middle. 290 carry, 305. And just play around with that. You want a little more draw and get it under more, release the club. A little less draw, feel like you're a little more neutral. Let the club stay a little bit, release a little bit less. If you have a big hook, then set it up to the fade setting. Purposely try to feel like you're hitting a fade. If you have a big slice, keep it on this draw setting. Keep on working on it until you really get a big draw on there. Now, you may be thinking at this point, okay, we got the inside path. We got the positive angle attack to make sure that we can really launch the ball high. What else can you do with it? Well, I actually played around with this. This isn't in what they recommend for this device, but I found a couple settings here that can be really good to hit your irons. Same as irons, people struggle to hit, so a lot of players struggle to hit up on their driver. The irons, people just struggle to hit down on them. So a cool little way to set this up, if I put these yellow tees now behind my golf ball, I'm going to, for wedges, put 1.5 grip links in front of these yellow tees. I'll go ahead and grab a golf ball here. So that's a grip length and a half in front. That's about where I want it to be for a wedge. This means I'm coming down, I'm going to miss these yellow tees here, hitting on that negative angle of attack, and I'm going to be able to hit a nice little divot in front of the golf ball. There we go. And I can feel the turf hitting front before it. Now, it's not just for wedges. You do 1 3/4 for your middle and longer irons, and you do 2 grip lengths when you're going for your fairway woods and your hybrids. So here, if I'm doing a fairway wood or a hybrid, all I'm going to do is take 1 grip length, 2 grip lengths. I'm going to place the ball there, and now that's about the right angle of attack when I'm hitting my 3-wood or my hybrid. Let's give that a whirl. A little bit of a fade there, 270 with my 3-wood. Not too bad. For me, if I started to do that a little too much, again, I would set up and I'd go with the same keys. So right elbow a little under, release the face. If I have a little bit too much of a fade and I don't like that, I'll go ahead and hit another shot. There we go. I'm not going to do too much better than that. 270 again, nice little tight draw there. Now, if you want one of these launch decks, all you need to do is click in the link down below this video. You'll be able to take it to a page where you can get this. It's going to be the best price that you'll find anywhere on the internet. I do make, full disclosure, a few dollars if you buy one of these from me. If you don't buy it from me, that's totally fine. You can probably rig something up, maybe a piece of foam, something else that's in the way that you can swing up on. It's just tough to know what the right height is. I like this because it's preset. You can hit down on it, you can hit up on it. Once you figure it out, you can just use it over and over again, and it makes things really easy. So it helps to support the channel. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. Anything that works on impact is going to get you better at golf a lot quicker. So best of luck. I'll see you in the next video. Go ahead and get your launch deck now.